Allegiant, the conclusive installment penned by Veronica Roth, a distinguished author featured on the New York Times bestseller list, concludes the gripping narrative of the Divergent trilogy. Released in 2013 through HarperCollins, Allegiant presents a dystopian landscape tailored for young adult readers. Roth intricately weaves the tale through the viewpoints of Tris Prior and Tobias Eaton, a departure from her previous singular narrative approach in Divergent and Insurgent. Lionsgate undertook the monumental task of adapting Roth's trilogy into cinematic experiences, with the first two installments hitting theaters in 2014 and 2015. Allegiant, the final adaptation, debuted in 2016. Despite initial plans for a fourth film, poor reception of Allegiant led to its cancellation, halting further exploration of the series on the silver screen. Set against the backdrop of a post-apocalyptic Chicago, society is structured into 5 distinct factions: abnegation for the selfless, dauntless for the brave, erudite for the intelligent, candor for the honest, and amity for the peacemakers. 16-year-olds undergo aptitude tests to determine their suitable faction, with those displaying traits of multiple factions deemed as divergent, a perilous designation in the eyes of societal order, leading to their persecution. Tris Prior, our courageous protagonist, defies societal norms by embracing her divergent identity, opting for dauntless over her birth faction of abnegation. As the series unfolds, Tris finds herself embroiled in factional conflicts, with Allegiant commencing as Tris, along with her allies Christina and Kara, faces trial within the confines of erudite headquarters for their allegiance to the Allegiant movement during the factional warfare depicted in Insurgent. Tobias Eaton, Tris' romantic partner, pays her a visit, alerting her to the impending trial and divulges his mother's plan to employ truth serum during interrogation. Despite the serum's effects, Tris chooses to deceive Evelyn, securing her freedom. In a candid exchange, Evelyn unveils her intentions to bring the Allegiant rebellion under her sway. Outside erudite headquarters, a factionless protest on Michigan Avenue turns deadly, claiming 2 lives. Tris, Tobias, and Christina convene with the Allegiant, devising a strategy to depart the city and reinstate the faction system. Tobias returns to the prison cells, rescuing Tris' brother, Caleb, from imminent execution for collusion with Janine Matthews. Boarding a train, the group escapes Chicago, arriving at the Bureau of Genetic Welfare compound. There, they encounter David, the Bureau's leader, who reveals that their city serves as a genetic experiment aimed at eliminating defective genes, with divergence deemed genetically pure. Erudite's persecution of divergence runs contrary to the Bureau's directives. Confronted with this revelation, the characters grapple with the deception shrouding their lives. During genetic testing, Tris is confirmed as divergent, but doubts arise regarding Tobias's identity. Wrestling with his sense of self, Tobias aligns with Nita to challenge the Bureau's discrimination against the genetically impaired. Simultaneously, he learns of his father Marcus's exile by Evelyn. Meanwhile, Tris delves into her parents' past through Natalie's journals, discovering her mother's sacrifice to thwart Janine's genocide of divergence. Tobias's journey to the fringe with Nita exposes him to the harsh reality of the genetically impaired, fostering his resolve to oppose the Bureau. Upon his return, he confides in Tris about his collaboration with Nita. Despite her distrust of Nita, Tris reluctantly accompanies Tobias to their next rendezvous. Nita's scheme involves pilfering the Bureau's memory serum, a potent weapon. However, Tris suspects darker intentions and attempts to dissuade Tobias from trusting Nita, though he perceives her concerns as driven by jealousy. In a crucial conversation, Tris confides in Matthew about Nita's true plan, unaware that Nita aims to obtain the lethal death serum to eliminate government figures. Realizing the urgency, Matthew insists they alert David and intervene. En route to find David, Tris witnesses a harrowing explosion near her friend Uriah, leaving him in a coma. Tris and Matthew locate David near the weapons lab, thwarting Nita's attempts to coerce him into unlocking the door. Amidst the chaos, Tobias is apprehended for disrupting the security system. Although David survives, he sustains severe injuries, rendering him immobile. Following the attack, David proposes that Tris undergo training for a position on his council, a proposal she accepts to glean insights into the Bureau and its operations. Meanwhile, the Chicago contingent strategizes a fresh assault on the Bureau. David dispatches Tris to the fringe, where she confronts the harsh realities of its inhabitants' living conditions. Back at the compound, Tobias witnesses the escalating conflict between the Allegiant and factionless in Chicago, realizing the city's inevitable self-destruction. At a council meeting with David, Tris learns of the Bureau's intention to reset Chicago within 48 hours to forestall government intervention, a revelation that shocks her. Moreover, the group discovers that Uriah, showing no signs of brain activity, will be removed from life support. They dispatch a team to inform Uriah's family and immunize them against the memory serum, alongside Christina's family. Tobias makes a crucial decision to initiate a reset process for one of his parents, recognizing that lasting peace in Chicago hinges on their cessation of conflict. With Christina and Peter by his side, Tobias returns to Chicago to execute their plan. Discovering Peter's desire to reset himself due to his own cruelty, Tobias steers him toward redemption. Instead of resetting Evelyn, Tobias persuades her to reconcile with Marcus and the Allegiant leaders. Evelyn extends an olive branch to Marcus and Johanna, proposing disarmament and the establishment of new leadership through democratic elections, along with the option for citizens to depart the city if they wish. Though Marcus rebuffs these terms, Johanna accepts, paving the way for reconciliation. Meanwhile, Tobias informs Uriah's family of his involvement in the accident and escorts them back to safety with their friends. As the Chicago group executes their mission, Tris, Caleb, and Matthew endeavor to reset the compound. Caleb, prepared to sacrifice himself, volunteers to enter the weapons lab, protected by death serum. Refusing to let Caleb bear the burden alone, Tris, relying on her divergent resilience, ventures into the lab. However, she encounters David, who tragically takes her life before she can trigger the memory serum, effectively resetting the Bureau's leadership. Devastated by Tris' demise, and with Uriah's life support terminated, Tobias retreats to his childhood home, contemplating resetting himself. However, Christina intervenes, urging him to honor Tris' legacy and embrace the person she helped him become. 2.5 years later, Tobias and his companions embark on a poignant journey, scattering Tris' ashes along the dauntless zip line, a fitting tribute to her adventurous spirit and enduring love. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.